Yes, he can.
And
what he has to do is obviously a big chore. Win the championship. Win the championship. Nothing less will suffice if he wants to be named the best player in the world. And look, I am not a guy that believes that, the best player on the NBA champion is the best player in the world. I know I thought LeBron was the best player in the world long before he won the championship. Same thing with Giannis. He was best player in the world before he won the title. And had Phoenix won the championship this year, I wouldn't have said Devin Booker or Chris Paul is the best player in the world. But yes, if Luka wins the championship, he could be crowned, because there are two things right now that would keep him from being the best player in the world. It's Giannis. Right now, Giannis is the best player in the world. Large part because his defense is light years ahead of Luka's. So Luka's poor to mediocre defense is keeping him from being in that discussion as the best player in the world. And the second thing is he does it all for his team. And the feeling is that his style of play, primary scorer, primary ball handler, primary distributor, volume shooter, does everything for his team on the offensive end. The thinking is that you can't win that way in the modern day NBA, and it's going to be tough to play with a second star that you would need to win a championship. However, if Luka wins the championship, he will have shown you that, yes, he might have a deficiency on the defensive end, but he's overcome it with his offense. So you would look at him and Giannis and say, okay, Giannis much better defender, but Luka's much better on the offensive end, a far better shooter at every level. A much better, even though Giannis can pass, Luka's a much better distributor and passer, court vision, all of that. So his offense would be so good that it would overcome his weaknesses. And Nick, you know this, somehow Larry Bird made 3 all-defensive teams, but never was a terrific defender. Magic led the league in steals a couple times, but never was a terrific defender. So up until before Michael Jordan, the best player in the world wasn't always like an awesome defender. So I don't think, Nick, I don't know where you're at on this, I don't think Luka's going to win the title. However, if he does, then you can't hate. You got to give him the love. To win it without a second star, I think he'd be the best player in the world.
Yeah, you do. Brew, I'm so glad we're back. Because Brew is right. Brew did coin the phrase Luka legend. Brew has been a Luka Dončić guy. However, his deep dedication to measured analysis rather than grasping the moment, recognizing where we're at, has hurt him in this discussion. Because as recently as a month ago, I said Luka was the best player in the Western Conference playoffs. Just the Western Conference side of the bracket. And Brew got mad at me. He was like, what about Steph Curry? Steph Curry's about to find out. What about Steph Curry here very shortly? But this is why I'm so happy about this. Because Brew, right now, this moment, if you asked him, so do you agree with Nick that Luka's already an all-time great playoff performer? Brew would say, no, of course not. It's still too far. But Brew has now gone further than even I have gone. Because the best player alive championship belt is the most exclusive belt in sports. I'll tell you, and I will give the most liberal definition of it. I will give it to as many people as you possibly can, because a couple of these guys I've named maybe never held it. But at best, the following people have held the belt, and some of them have held it multiple times. Wilt, Russell, Kareem, Moses, Bird, Magic, that's 6, Michael, Akeem, Shaq, Duncan, Kobe, LeBron, Giannis. That's 13 names. Those 13 people, Wilds, happen to also be 13 of the 15 greatest players ever. So what Chris Broussard is saying is Luka Dončić is a mere 8 wins away from being a definitionally top 15 all-time guy. Welcome it back, Brew. I'm glad to have you back.
Don't put words into my mouth. Don't put words in my mouth. I am with you.
What do you mean?
Hold on. I am with you that Luka will be an all-time great player. will be an all-time great playoff performer. And what I said yesterday,
in 3
you
weeks.
got to win a championship. You got to win a championship, or at the very least get to many finals like an Elgin Baylor to be considered an all-time great playoff performer. I haven't given my prediction that, you don't know who I'm picking in the West. However, I am not picking Dallas to win it. I'm not picking them to win it, to win the championship. So I don't think Luka will do it, Wilds. So Nick is trying to paint me, put me out there in Never Land. No.
In a
I'm
good
just
way.
saying, if by chance
Don't put Brew in a corner.
he wins the championship, how can we deny it?
Wilds, I'm trying to bring him in.
You're
a loss.
Kevin Durant.
Wilds.
Kevin Durant had the belt as well. You ran through your list of greatest player. Kevin Durant never had the championship belt while he's sitting there holding a Finals MVP
When did he have
trophy.
it?
Like Kevin Durant, he had the belt.
No.
When he won his Finals MVP, he was the best player in the world.
So then Kawhi had it too?
No.
Kawhi also had it?
I think Kawhi did have it.
Kawhi also had it.
I do believe that Kawhi had it.
Okay.
I subscribe to
Wilds belts like the WBO
if
title.
If you're holding the
You don't even
Finals
know who has
MVP.
It's like who held it? Like, go ahead. So Chauncey
The
had
Warriors
it.
have won
This
so many
is a
gosh
Chauncey
darn titles
Billups
I don't
take.
forget to
Stanley
remember.
Cup.
This is a Chauncey
Well, it
Billups
doesn't
take.
matter.
Right?
buddy
Wilds,
Chauncey.
go ahead.
Let Wilds finish.
In
Go
any
ahead.
event, here's why I don't think Luka can have it. And Broussard, you'll agree with me. And this is not disparaging Luka, but we know that he is a dominant offensive player and, at best, an okay defensive player. And we can brush it aside until it becomes finals time, and all of a sudden, turns out where the rubber meets the road and the game is decided by 1 or 2 plays, being the best player in the world helps because you have to make a defensive play. That look is never going to happen to Luka. So if you have no fear of the guy defensively, I don't think you get to hold the belt. You definitively hold the belt if you're mostly an offensive player, and no one will ever be worried about you defensively.
Okay, so Larry Bird was never the best player in basketball, nor was Magic Johnson. That's a very intriguing take. I disagree with it, first of all. Second of all, instead of trying to slip in a little LeBron slander because you're reading into what his wins meant, why not just show Akeem saving the NBA Finals with a block? Akeem, who was the best player in the world, saved an NBA championship with a block of John Starks. Come on, Wilds. That's better footage. That more tells your point. But
no, it's not. It's not better.
But here's the problem, though.
High definition.
Here's the problem. The problem with this whole Luka defense narrative is here's what is true. Team defense is wildly important. Your individual superstar player being an elite defender is great if it happens, but is not a requisite to the championship. Another guy who has held Wild's best player alive belt, evidently, Dirk Nowitzki, was never a great defensive player, but the team as a whole was. The Mavs this year are the 6th best defense in basketball. So they've somehow been able to overcome what, much like the Warriors, despite having their best player, Steph Curry, not be an elite defensive player by any shot, when they were winning titles. In 2015, they were the number 1 defense. In 2016, they were the number 1 defense, or top 2 both years. They didn't win in 2016, obviously, because of the block. But so I don't think that's a prerequisite. I think it's a bonus.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.